Hey, 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 happy Tuesday. Come on in, pull out the chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the Grand Poobah. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief of the Gaming Gang. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. This is live stream 735. If this is your first time joining me, let me point out, super casual, just hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, and then taking a look at a tabletop game. Tonight, I am going to continue our month-long old school for the New Year celebration by taking a look at Original Adventures Reincarnated Volume 2, The Isle of Dread. From Goodman Games. So we are going to be taking a look at that in just a bit. Of course, if you have not tuned in for the stream before, usually do, a little warm up, and then we get into the tabletop gaming news. And then we move on to the first look at the game or game book, RPG, what have you. Every once in a while, I do a review live on the show as well. Not too often, but every once in a while. So if you're watching live and you're tuning in because you really want to get a peek at Original Adventures Reincarnated, The Isle of Dread, sit tight, be about 30 minutes or so, and then we will be jumping on in. If you are watching after this stream ends, more than 30 minutes or so after it ends, you will notice there are timestamps. So if you want to skip ahead of the news and just jump right into the page through, you'll be able to do that with the timestamps in the notes, in the show notes section. All right. Also want to mention, if you like this video, by all means, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings right here on YouTube at 7 p.m. Central. I'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming first look at the Gaia Complex. Yes, it's a new cyberpunk role-playing game, and I have not peeked inside it yet, but I have seen some of the artwork online when I was doing a news piece about this a few months ago, and looks pretty interesting. So this is on the horizon. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live stream, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you want to say howdy, or maybe you got a question, a comment, by all means, chime in. I will do my best to respond. Looks like we have got chat is off and running already. So first out the gate tonight was the Motor City Madman. That's right, the Madman, one of our chat moderators, so behave yourselves. So he is first out the gate. Clint Gibson is with us. Russell Higgins is here. Helga Ratbone has arrived early. Helga usually shows up a little later in the show. She's hanging out early on. So who else do we have here? Ah, yes, Bruno Azevedo is joining us once again. Flaming Huron is here as well. He is our other chat moderator. So those are the two gents who drop the ban hammer when people get out of hand, which really never happens here, which is cool. I'm glad. Very, very cool. So before we jump into the news, yes, as the Madman points out, I am wearing my gift from Wizards of the Coast. Wizards of the Coast sent out a holiday package. And I would have shared this stuff yesterday, but we started out, I had to talk about poor Pinky. And just, it would have been weird for me going, oh, well, the cat's gone. But here's this stuff I got. Okay, so first of all, I get this big box. I'll show you the box. I'll open the box up in a moment or two. So I get this box, and wrapped around this box is this. And I have absolutely no idea what this is. I thought maybe it's supposed to be almost like a muffler. Yeah, that you'd put on your car. You know what I mean? Where you kind of wrap it around, because everything in this gift box is kind of themed towards resistance to cold. I have no idea what this is. So I'm like, I don't know. Did they just make this to hold the box closed? Because it's kind of similar material to what I'm wearing right now, which, wait till you see that. So I'm kind of curious. I know the Madman said that they had caught somebody else, other content creator out there, who is sharing the stuff that they got that came in this box. I'm curious if they all came out to be the same size, because move this out of the way, because this thing is huge. So it's like a hoodie. It's a pullover. It's got the D&D ampersand on it. It's got the hood. And yes, I'm wearing glasses tonight. I'm giving my eyes a little bit of a break from contacts. I realized yesterday that I hadn't taken a break from contacts in about 4 months. So I thought, I'm going to take a few days just wearing glasses, which unfortunately I don't see as well, like reading wise with these glasses. So fingers crossed I can make out everything in this book we're taking a look at tonight. Anyway, so I'm gonna get up. I don't know how well you're gonna see this, but just to show you how big this is. Now, keep in mind, I'm 6'1" and about 220 thereabouts. I think I'm down to 216 actually. Wish I could get under like 200, but it's never happening. But so wait till you see this. And it almost comes all the way down to my knees. So I'm just curious if this is like, if everybody got the same size, because there are young women out there who, or women of, any age, doesn't matter. I'm just saying, smaller people. If they got this thing, they'd be like falling out of it. I mean, it's huge. It's massive on me. I could put 2 people in this thing. So Sarah D and Mr. Eddie T are hanging out with us in chat as well. Sarah D says that this item is too short to be an infinity scarf. Yeah, it's not a scarf because it's just round. Because I had thought, oh, well, maybe it's supposed to be a scarf, but it's just circular. I don't know. I have no idea Roll for Combat has joined us. One size fits all, XXXXXL. See, what that was one of the things that I had thought of too, because normally the folks over at Wizards of the Coast, if they're sending like a T-shirt or something, they always say, hey, do us a favor, let us know what size you wear. And they didn't do that this year. So I thought, in my, opinion, I was like, oh, well, I guess they're not sending any kind of clothing item. Okay, Sarah D says, infinity scars are a circle. You twist them in the middle to double them up. I bet you that's what this is then. Because it is like material for like a scarf. It's very similar. I have a cap that's almost like this. So as you can tell, I'm not like up on fashion clothing and stuff like that. So it's like, I don't know. Don't know. Omanal's with us in chat. Good to see you, Omanal. Let's see. Did we have anybody else pop in? I think I've said hello to everybody. All right. So once again, this thing is massive. And the only thing I could think this was supposed to be is, and I can't remember what they used to call them, but you used to see them almost like an infomercial where they were these like almost, I always like to say they were like a monk's robe with like a hoodie, and they were made to like lounge around your house in and stay warm. So I am going to say that is probably what this is supposed to be. Because, like I said, this thing is massive. Rivers RPG channel is joining us. I believe this is the first time Rivers RPG channel has popped in and joined us in chat. So welcome aboard. Make yourself comfortable. All right. So I also got some slippers. Although I have to admit, they're kind of cheap, chintzy slippers. So I don't see myself wearing them. I think the sole of this would break apart super easy. But still, I thought it was very cool he sent this stuff. Because got to remember, Wizards of the Coast doesn't have to send anything. Granted, they send out the review copies of stuff, which sometimes I poo-poo, like Strixhaven. They could have been like, screw that guy. We're not sending him anything after he gave Strixhaven a 3 out of 10. So then I got another like journal, which is engraved with my name, but they misspelled Jeff. My name is not Jeff McAleer. But inside is graph paper for mapping. So I thought that was cool. I thought that was nice. Also got some hot chocolate. In fact, this was wrapped up. I started unwrapping it and I thought, oh, hey, it's a coffee mug. But no, it's a jar of hot chocolate with a marshmallow topper. Clint Gibson says, Jeff is a tricky name. Yes, it would be tricky if I spelled it Geoff. Which I remember when I used to see that when I was younger, I always thought it was Geoff. Helga says, how do you misspell Jeff? I know. How do you misspell that? Also got a little card with a poem on it, which I thought was kind of funny. And a little snowy owl bear. Little hanging snowy owl bear. I thought, hey, that was kind of cool. So it all came in this big box. That came in a box. This is what that, as Sarah thinks it's an infinity scarf, came wrapped around, was this box. And the box is actually really cool. It's got a snowy owl bear in it. This is a very, very cool storage box. Now, last year, Wizards of the Coast sent a Christmas package, and it was a huge box. I think it was a little bigger than what I just showed you. There was almost nothing in it. It was like, what? No, Russell, it is not an air freshener. It's just a little hanger, a little, little hangy thing. So Rivers RPG channel says that's a cool box. Yeah, I thought so too. I thought that's a very cool box. So while I'm sharing what Wizards of the Coast sent me for Christmas, I thought I'd share a couple other items that my family gave me for Christmas. So I got this Saving Throw water bottle. So it's a D&D thing. I thought, oh, that's kind of cool. And my brother bought me a D&D Dungeon Masters t-shirt with the wrong size, obviously, enough. My brother wears clothes it's like painted on him, and I do not wear tight clothing. I've never liked tight clothing. I like my clothing be kind of loose. So I thought that was sort of funny. And then I also got this cool Cthulhu box. Give you a little peek at this. So I'm actually going to keep it down here and store my my remotes and stuff in. So there you go. So that is the goodies I got for Christmas, and the really strange stuff from Wizards of the Coast. 245 Trioxins joined us in chat. So has Kevin R. Smith. Kevin R. Smith and Omanal are both reviewers for the Gaming Gang over at thegaminggang.com. They do written reviews. And I have to point out, I am still looking for reviewers. I am always on the lookout for role-playing game reviewers. And as Omanal and Kevin can attest, with my reviewers, you get PDFs of anything that's being reviewed by the reviewers. It is not only the reviewer who gets it. So it's kind of cool how I pull that off. So Bruno says that Cthulhu box would be my new dice tray. I could see using it like so, but it does not have like a felt lining inside. So I think your dice would kind of clank around a little bit. All right. So how about I'll take a sip here, and we're almost 20 minutes into the show. So how about we jump on into the news? Although I had to say, before I do that, I had somebody comment on a video. I want to say it was the Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay Elector Counts unboxing that I did on the live show on the stream. And their comment was, actual video starts at minute 37. So I was like, okay. So usually I would just delete it. I'd be like, whatever. So I decided, no, you know what? I'm going to comment back and ask, what was the purpose of posting that? Because number one, there's already timestamps on the video, and minute 37 was not correct. It was actually a little earlier than that. I was like, what's the point of that? It's like, you come across as a troll. It's like, are these people just, and I get that. I get this from time to time where it's like, the unboxing starts at this point. It's like, hey, I'm sorry that this isn't your kind of show. Sorry that, you don't want to catch the latest tabletop gaming news and kind of hanging out and people are in chat and things like that. Maybe this show's not made for you. Kind of like Haunted West isn't made for some white heterosexual gamers out there. Flaming Heron says, yeah, that seems sort of asinine. Yeah, it's exactly what I would think. So Mr. Eddie T says, I like a bit of preamble. Yeah, this is more than preamble. This is just pre-ramble. Flaming Heron keeps considering getting into writing some reviews for us. Hey, shoot me an email. Take a peek. Send me a couple items that you write reviews up for and take it from there. Okay, so moving right along into the news. A second edition of Vault Wars has arrived from Floodgate Games. Here's the skinny. Many heroes go forth to battle, but some never return, leaving behind their prized possessions. You'll be part of the bidding war for the vaults they left behind to gain valuable items, each providing gold, victory points, or new abilities. Outbid your opponents, equip artifacts, gain new abilities, and find the gear your up-and-coming heroes are looking for to be victorious in Vault Wars. Players will take turns as an auction master, leading a cutthroat bidding war to sell off vaults full of items to the other players. Each vault provides a unique experience, introducing new ways for the players to bid. No player quite knows everything that's in a vault, and there's lots of junk to fool your opponents into bidding on. Between auctions, players may sell off their items to gain gold or save them for victory points, paying storage fees to keep them around. Collect gems for massive victory points, weapons to gain lots of gold, or rare artifacts to gain powerful abilities. Each player has up-and-coming heroes who are looking for specific items, giving out bonus victory points, but try to keep that a secret from your opponents. The player with the most victory points after all the auctions, obviously enough, is the winner. Vault Wars is for 3 to 5 players, ages 13 and up, plays in around 45 to 60 minutes, and carries an MSRP of $24.95. Obviously enough, the first edition of this game must have come out right about the time when Storage Wars was popular. Of course, then it was revealed that a lot of that was a scam, like most reality TV is, but it could be a kind of interesting game. Could be. Clint Gibson says politics are ridiculous nowadays. Ridiculous. Whatever happened to don't argue politics? Everyone has an opinion on how it should be ran. And yeah, opinions. I understand. I try not to get political. But I really don't have any time for nuts. I just don't. I don't have time for wing nuts. There's other language I usually refer to some of those people as, but let's keep it family friendly tonight. Hitting stores in Q1 from Farside Games Entertainment is Epic 7 Arise. Here's what I know. Epic 7 Arise, the board game, is the tabletop adaptation of the popular mobile game that pictures the heroes to save the seventh world from destruction. All right, that was not very good localization there. It's officially licensed by Smilegate Megaport. That sounds like something that would be out of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Welcome to the Smilegate Megaport. Each player will enter the role of the heirs, being created by the goddess of life, Yiche, to protect the world of Orbis from the archdemon and the acolytes. Sounds like a band. Each hero comes with a skill deck representing their unique set of skills to the table. You need to use your skills well if you intend to defeat the archdemon, which I would have to think is what your whole point of playing the game is, to defeat the archdemon. During play, heroes must manage their actions and coordinate with the team, moving to the locations under the most threat and doing battle with enemies, finding time to recover and purchase items between engagements as they prepare to defeat the monsters and enemies. The game has multiple chapters. Each of them has a similar structure of main plot and side quests. If any hero dies during the round, It will have penalties, but they can revive in the next round. As long as one of you is still alive, you still have a chance to win and get the highest score to be the ultimate winner in the team. Should have used somebody who could have localized this better. Reading some of this, it's like, that doesn't make sense. The chapters are all standalone and not contingent on being played in a certain order or with the same players. The board game significantly broadens the original game's universe and emphasizes the depth of plot, yet its main focus will be on interactions driven by game stories and decision making. Epic 7 Arise is for 1 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, plays in 40 to 90 minutes, and it will carry an MSRP of $100 when it arrives early this year. So it is supposed to be a Q1 release. I thought I would share this because, on one hand, this kind of sounds like Gloomhaven in certain ways, which I've actually started playing the computer game version of Gloomhaven. My best friend Elliot bought it for me for Christmas. So I started messing around with that last night. It's actually kind of cool, kind of tricky. And anyway, I thought the minis look kind of cool. You're going to see what I believe is the game itself in just a moment. It's a big spread of what I believe comes in the core box. Now, I know there are other expansions and supplements that are coming out for this when this releases, but I think this is the core game. And it looks like you've got a good number of miniatures there as well. So something to take a peek at. David Weisberger has joined us in chat. Very cool. Very cool. Welcome aboard, David. I'm not sure if this is David's first time joining us in chat or not. I know, I'm terrible. Sometimes we have return visitors and I'm like, hey, it's the first time they've been here. And it's like, no, I've been here like 5 times, dude. What's wrong with you? All right. Anyway, so Omen, I was pointing out we play games to get away from politics. Yes. Yes, we do. No, I like to inject politics into all my games. All my games, I have current political environments. All right, I know we're supposed to be playing the One Ring tonight, and you guys are in Middle Earth, but elections are coming. No. David says one of the first few times. There you go. Cool. All right, let's talk about some role-playing game news because we've got a new bundle of holding that's on tap, and it features, I thought this was kind of serendipitous. I don't know. I know. I'm using English like a second language again tonight. Russell says, yeah, politics is the quickest way to lose them. Anyway, we got a new bundle of holding. It features 5 Torches Deep from Sigil Stone Publishing. I've got the details on the deal. Adventure. This new Sigil Stone OSR bundle features 2 tabletop fantasy role-playing games from, you guessed it, Sigil Stone Publishing. 5 Torches Deep and Vagabonds of Dyfed that combine old-school revival ideas from the hobby's earliest days with the best of modern 5th edition compatible and Apocalypse Engine rules. With the simplified character options and class abilities in 5 Torches Deep, 5e players and DMs can move smoothly to an old-school style where magic is perilous and wild, torches and food are tracked, injuries can be brutal, and every decision can matter a lot. Vagabonds of Dyfed brings classic OSR action to indie gamers with a cut down and streamline powered by the Apocalypse mechanic. And it's a snap to run your favorite old dungeon crawl modules with either system. For just $14.95, you get all 10 titles in the complete collection, which has a retail value of $60, as DRM-free PDFs, including the complete 5 Torches Deep core rulebook and 5 supplements: Origins, Duels, Homestead, Stealth, and the Vault. Includes the Vagabonds of Dyfed rulebook, and it supplements the Vagabond Cyclopedia and Sigurnheim, the Siege of Deep Nell Hold, and the Dark Sun inspired campaign setting, Dortoka, City on the Sea of Glass. These savings do run through Monday, January 24th. 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to this offer's pandemic-related charity, Direct Relief. I had to chuckle. Serendipitous doesn't exactly roll off the tongue. No, it does not, Flaming Huron. Especially when you got the stupid temporary teeth down here as I await the implants. Anyway, so I thought this was kind of funny because yesterday we were just talking about 5 Torches Deep and a new expansion that came out. And I had pointed out, I thought it was pricey. I did. And I had mentioned how I think it's the creator of 5 Torches Deep. I had reached out to see if they wanted to take part in the old school for the new year. And they said, well, yeah, I thought you already reviewed 5 Torches Deep and didn't like it. And I kind of talked about that yesterday, which I haven't reviewed it. But I did point out when I shared a news piece that I thought it seemed kind of pricey. Now, I took a peek and I saw the core book for 5 Torches Deep is $10 in PDF over at Drive-Thru RPG. It's like 48 pages. Once again, I think $10 for a 48-page PDF is pricey, but this is an awesome deal because you'll get not everything for 5 Torches Deep, because obviously it doesn't include the new supplement we talked about yesterday, but it also gets you Vagabonds of Dyfed, which I've heard is really good. And I had heard Dortoka, City on the Sea of Glass, is also really good. So yes, this is a smashing deal for $14.95. So if you are curious at all about 5 Torches Deep, jump on board this deal. Russell Higgins says 5 Torches Deep is good, but they probably prefer Dungeon Crawl Classics. Yeah, I like Dungeon Crawl Classics too. Kevin says, I was about to say, how pricey can you get for a pretty small product? I have seen some crazy PDF prices of stuff. I've had people reach out and say, hey, Jeff, would you mind including this on, in your news and that? And I'll take a peek. And I'm like, holy, 20 cents a page, I think is high. And I know, I get it. Drive-Thru RPG has raised the prices for the print items, but still, digital items are digital items. And I think part of this, we'll talk about this real quickly after we finish up the news, but I think we're starting to see all this NTF stuff is starting to trickle down into other digital items, giving them more value than they actually should have. We'll talk a little bit about that once I finish up the news. All right, talking about another role-playing game digitally. An interesting looking new RPG has arrived in print and PDF. Here's the scoop on Diesel. Diesel is a high-octane game of cinematic action wrapped around an emotional core. Inspired by pop culture such as Mad Max and Firefly, Diesel creates unique, badass characters and creates an unforgettable, edge-of-your-seat adventure for them. Each adventure is intended to be a short campaign, 2 to 5 sessions, including 1 session of communal character creation. Diesel is set in Edge, a Wild West meets cyberpunk setting at the end of reality itself. Here, impossible things become real, like diesels, humans modified to run on biofuel. But the heartless Possibilities Corporation has a stranglehold over Edge and its wondrous resources. Many people suffer beneath the corporate boot, but others live free on the open road, scavenging for materials to keep their machine parts in repair. The options are limitless. Will you be an outlaw, pulling off the interdimensional heist of a lifetime? A corporate enforcer, protecting people from creatures beyond reason? A friendly mechanic, simply out to make a mostly honest living? In Edge, you can be anyone you want to be. Using the unique diesel engine, you can mix and match mods to create your perfect diesel. Our system is designed to encourage players to attempt anything, and for game masters, the flexibility to let it happen. This is a game designed for cranking up the electric guitar, sliding across the hood of your rusty rocket powered car, and ramping over an explosion. Diesel plays like an action movie with a strong emphasis on rule of cool. Diesel is highly flexible, providing rules and setting primarily as framework for your story. There's no need to memorize mountains of lore. The players define the game world as much as the book does. Whether you're new to tabletop gaming or just looking for a break in between your 100-session D&D games, Diesel has you covered. The 86-page core book is available at Drive-Thru RPG in hardcover for $29.99. It's also available in PDF for $16.99. Sounds very interesting. Sounds pretty unique. Once again, a little bit pricey for that PDF and hardcover. I don't know if you need a hardcover for an 86-page book. Just me. I don't know. Flaming Heron's like, NTFs? Yes. There you go. David's pointing out what they are. Signed digital works. Yes, they're collectible digital items. I think what I hear the most about with NTFs from people I know are the top shots from the NBA, which it's like little digital highlights of players. And you know, they only have one. Somebody, Jason Brenner, who was with Upper Deck, and then he was with the company that was doing the Warhammer Fantasy. It wasn't a collectible card game, or maybe it was a collectible card game. Regardless, they're out of business. Anyway, he just signed on with a company doing NFTs of Star Trek. So, anyway, let's wrap up the news. The latest edition of the Arkham Gazette has arrived for Call of Cthulhu from Sentinel Hill Press. Here's what I know. Then beyond the hill's crest, I saw Kingsport outspread frostily into gloaming. Snowy Kingsport, with its ancient vanes and steeples, ridge poles and chimney pots, wharves and small bridges, willow trees and graveyards, endless labyrinths of steep, narrow, crooked streets, and dizzy, church-crowned central peak that time durst not touch. Ceaseless mages of colonial houses piled and scattered at all angles and levels, like a child's disordered blocks. Welcome to Kingsport, our long-promised fourth full issue, which we have dubbed Kingsport Dreams, has arrived at last. Within these pages, we explore some of the mysteries of this fog-draped, sleepy village of legend, from the wave-lapped rocks of Pilot Island to the barnacle-crusted pilings of the dockside, through the crooked lanes and alleys, and spiraling up to the summit of Kingsport Head. Kingsport beckons you. This issue includes the following 13 articles: locations in Greater Kingsport, new places to explore in Kingsport, drawn from earlier scenarios and the minds of our writers; Hooper's Pond and the Old Brick Powder House, two strange spots west of Kingsport where odd things have been seen; the Hall School, only girls from the finest families in the Miskatonic Valley attend this boarding school; also noted alumna Miss Aseneth Waith; Neil's Curiosity Shop and other oddities; the collection and collector of Kingsport's strangest tourist attraction is examined; Kingsport Curios, 7 strange artifacts one might find in Kingsport, from a ship in a bottle to a collection of prosthetic hands. Although they wrote pathetic, not pathetic. It's prosthetic. It's gotta be. Gotta be. 13 Kingsport Ghosts, an extended prop document exploring the many ghost stories of Kingsport, with more scenario hooks than you can shake a harpoon at. It's a dangling participle there. Alton Blackington, a historical journalist, photographer, and storyteller, presented as an NPC for your game. Franklin Waite Price, a fictional folk artist whose favorite subject is Kingsport's past, described as an NPC. Der Vermits Mysteris, a deep dive into Robert Bloch's most famed Cthulhu mythos creation, the Nightmarish Tome, written by the wizard Ludwig Prynne. Visions from Yadith, an unearthly book of poems, as created by Lynn Carter, that laments the doom of an alien world. There's also Dr. Goddard's rocket test. Modern science is coming to Kingsport. This scene allows your investigators to play a role in the famed researcher's latest attempts in rocketry. Bones of Contention, a scenario of secrets long buried from the minds of the author of Kingsport, The City in the Mist himself, Kevin Ross. A Kingsport bibliography for keepers who want to explore the stories behind the setting. An annotated list of every Cthulhu mythos story that includes Kingsport and what details, if any, it provides about the town. The next issue is actually going to continue the exploration of Kingsport in Kingsport, Visions and Nightmares. The 121-page Gazette is available in softcover, including the PDF, for $19.99. Or you can just score the PDF alone for $14.99 at Drive-Thru RPG. Obviously enough, probably a way better deal just to get the physical softcover for $19.99. Get the PDF as well. I reviewed the first issue. I'm trying to remember if I did a review of the second or not. But the folks over at Sentinel Hill Press had sent me the first issue. This is quite a while ago. This is a few years ago. And it was really good. Really, really good. So I am assuming that this will probably be pretty cool as well, especially if you really want to focus on your Lovecraft country and Kingsport. Sweet. Very nice. All right. That is it for the news tonight. Of course, last two items I was talking about Drive-Thru RPG. And keep in mind, the Gaming Gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are planning on visiting, say, Drive-Thru RPG, please stop by thegaminggang.com first. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around. Also, if you like this video, if you like the channel, if you like what I do, if you like thegaminggang.com, you can always buy me a cup of coffee or some soda by going over to paypal.me/thegaminggang and making a small donation. And thankfully, we get people who go use the banner links, the banner ads, as well as pop over to paypal.me. So always appreciate it. And thank you very much. Because if you're fairly new to following the Gaming Gang, you may not realize we do not do yearly Kickstarters. Looking for a handout? Send you a promo card. Flaming Heron points out there's a New Year's sale right now over at Drive-Thru RPG. Yes, there is. It is their new game for the New Year sale. So there's some discussion of NFTs, I should say. It's like, geez. Kevin says they're finishing up their review of the One Ring starter set. Hey, speaking of that, I got an email today telling me I've got a package coming from Free League Publishing that includes the Tales from the Loop board game, the core book for the One Ring second edition, the Rivendell book, which I think comes with the GM screen, and the starter set. So we will be shooting some video with that. It will be this month, but it will probably not be live because all throughout January, it is old school for the new year. And I've pretty much got everything booked. So there is that. So Mexilfoil with, sorry, what? I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. Mexil Flip. I don't know. Mex is here with us. Welcome aboard. I'm going to reload this a little bit. And then we are going to dive on into the Isle of Dread in just a moment. So, okay, so I was talking about these NFTs, which are essentially, they kind of piggyback on cryptocurrency. So once again, it's a digital thing. And it's, in my opinion, things of no value. I'm not saying Bitcoin has no value because it obviously does have value, but it's super easy to see those things just collapse in value into nothingness. So, but yeah, the NFTs are they're just like little digital, some are digital artwork. Like I said, the top shots, which are from the NBA, and these things sell out like, you know, they'll go on sale and like within seconds they're all sold. And they do resale for a lot of money. But once again, I guess it's all in the eye of the beholder, I suppose. But it's almost as if, because we're starting to see the cost of PDFs jump. And I get it. Artwork is not cheap. It is not inexpensive to include original artwork in your games, especially, you know, when it's not, you know, like you bought a pack, like you see on Drive Through RPG, they've got like stock art packs and stuff like that. So I get it. I understand that. But it's also a digital product. So in my opinion, once again, this is just my opinion, I think role-playing game companies would be better served if, and you'll see Paizo does this with like your core books, have the PDFs be very, very affordable. So usually on average, and I'm sure the vast majority of you guys already know this, a physical book, let's say it's $40. Well, then the PDF is normally half that. So $40 physical book, $20 PDF. Paizo will normally go way lower than that. So I've seen them where they'll do a $30 supplement, and the PDF is like $5.99. So personally, I think that's the way to go, to bring people on board, have them check out the PDFs. Because I know a lot of people out there, and I know some folks hanging out in chat have said it themselves, that they prefer a physical book, but they enjoy PDFs as well. So if you have an inexpensive PDF, get somebody on board and they're like, oh, I like this. They turn around, they buy the physical book. No, but this whole digital things with value, but it's still just a digital item that, you know, can't touch it, can't hold it. I think it's driving, it's that the idea that these things are of value is driving other digital items prices up. So Omanal says that they love physical books, but they want a PDF for quick searches as well. Yeah, right with you. Flaming Heron says, yeah, make them cheaper or include them with the physical copies. That's another thing I completely agree with as well. Omanal says, curse you, Numenera. Kevin says they're waiting on the Kickstarter for the One Ring stuff because they backed the Kickstarter. I would assume that should be on its way to you as well. Outside of me getting my hands on Twilight 2000 to share with you before anyone else. And I know there were some folks out there who pissed about that. It's like, I don't know what to tell you. It's like they gave it to me. Usually Free League Publishing, they make sure to get stuff in the backers' hands about the same time the reviewers are getting it. All right. So let's jump on over to take a peek at Original Adventures Reincarnated Volume 2, The Isle of Dread. And who was it that just said, it's Russell. Russell Higgins said, but Jeff, you're not a basic player. Yeah, that was kind of the gag last night. That I never owned any of the basic modules because we didn't lower ourselves to play basic Dungeons and Dragons. We played advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So this original adventure was written by Zeb Cook and Tom Moldvay. This conversion is by Chris Doyle and Tim Wadzinski, who are the gents who did the conversion for last night's book into the Borderlands. Front cover art is provided by Jeff D. This 328-page hardcover is available for $49.99. It is not available in PDF, nor will it be available in PDF. Swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Kutching, the Isle of Dread. As we mentioned last night, and I will point this out for all of these videos that I'm doing with the Original Adventures Reincarnated, this did not come from Goodman Games. This is not a review copy that was sent from the company. It was not from the publisher. This was donated. In fact, all 6 volumes were donated by a kind individual out there who wants to remain anonymous. So, a few things. I'm going to stay here, picture in picture up in the corner. So I'll be cutting off the upper left portion of the book. We're not going to look at each and every page. We're going to do a bit of a page through, get a feel for what's in this book. And I'm assuming that this is going to be relatively similar in layout to last night's Into the Borderlands. So there's some discussion about free role-playing games. Yes, there are quite a few free role-playing games without art, like, yes, Lamentation of the Flame Princess. You can get that free if you want the art-free version. Worlds Without Number, Stars Without Number, they're free editions, and they are hundreds of pages long that are available out there. So before we jump into this, I tell people all the time, when they turn around, they say, oh, role-playing games are so expensive to get into the hobby. It is not. It is not. You can basically get into the hobby for free. You don't even need to buy dice. You can use dice apps that are free. So I poo-poo people who try to tell me, oh, it's too expensive. So expensive to get into that hobby. They're gatekeeping me out. No, they're not. As long as you got a computer or a tablet, something you can read PDFs on. Hey, let's not forget, we've got the excellent basic fantasy role-playing as well. So Omenal says Bandit Camp and Stars Without Number was free for a majority of the work. Yes, I think there's still a free edition of Stars Without Number. So yeah, Kevin's pointing out, yeah. Oh, Omenal says Wicked Ones. Yeah, Bandit Camp, that's from the same company. The Isle of Dread. All right, this is going to be interesting reading this with these glasses. A mini campaign that takes characters from level 3 to 7, hundreds of miles from the mainland in the comforts of civilization, amid treacherous waters infested with pirates, sharks, and other fell beasts, lies an island ripe for adventure, yet teeming with absolute dread. Jagged volcanic mountains, dark, steamy jungles, and dank, foul swamps are inhabited by giant prehistoric beasts and vermin. Spoilers! course, this module is decades old. But brave those dangers as well as the unforgiving terrain, and explorers can uncover ancient ruins, forlorn secrets, and wondrous treasures hidden in the center of the jungle in a plateau that hides an ancient city rumored to be built by the gods, but also hosting a slumbering evil bent on a triumphant return to its former glory. Pack your mundane supplies, rations, and plenty of clean water. Hire guides and porters to lug the equipment. Once again, remember, as I mentioned, I'm not used to wearing these glasses, so it's a little blurry. Blah, 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 blah. Porters to lug the equipment needed for wilderness exploration. High adventure awaits those willing to brave the tangled undergrowth of the jungle and clash with the island's denizens while exploring the dark reaches of the Isle of Dread. So there's some discussion of piracy in PDFs. Let's not discuss that, please. We don't discuss that. I understand those things exist. I don't live in a bubble. All right, let's dive on in. So, this was an expert adventure. That's right. I forgot it wasn't basic. It was expert. So here we have the cover. We've got the map. Once again, this was, if I remember correctly, like I said, I never owned this back in the day, but I had seen the PDF when Wizards of the Coast started releasing the old modules in PDF through Dungeon Masters Guild. Once again, I will point out this is not available for sale in PDF, which I believe is actually the decision that Wizards of the Coast made in agreement with Goodman Games. And as I mentioned last night, I think it's because they want to make sure that they still are able to move the digital copies of the original adventure. So we're going to get some background. So here's Zeb Cook, who was one of the designers, talking about the adventure. Lawrence Schick, who was very involved with TSR, especially did a lot of monsters. In fact, if I remember right, I think he did quite a few of the monsters in the Fiend Folio. Omanal says Isle of Dread was one of their favorite modules ever produced. Flaming Your Head says, finding myself buying game bundles if I have a passing interest in games. Really no excuses to sail the high seas for PDFs. Right, Flaming Your Head's like, ixnay on that word. Yes. Once again, I am not a gatekeeper, right? So it's like, I want to do things, doesn't need to be my business. Every sixth grader's PC should have the chance to ride a Battle Tiger by Harley Stroh. I said it last night. I'll say it again. Harley Stroh comes across as a really good guy. I have corresponded a little bit with him on Twitter. Just seems like a really good guy. So we get an interview with Zeb Cook. Kind of short interview, though. Then we get a little history about the publication. If I remember correctly, and obviously there are folks out there who are far, far more knowledgeable about the history of Dungeons and Dragons than I am, especially since I didn't play Basic or Expert and never owned any of their products. Didn't this come in the Expert box? Which was like a blue box, right? Kevin says Lawrence Schick also brought Tom Moldvay to TSR. They were friends from Akron, Ohio. Cool. Yes, good old Tom Moldvay. Really, without Tom Moldvay, you would not have the Basic and Expert sets, and such popularity that they still hold. They really do have uh, such staying power. They have far more staying power, at least in my opinion, basic and expert than advanced D&D or even second edition advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So Russell Higgins says, yeah, there's a blue box, came with a set of dice and a crayon. Yes, a crayon to fill in your dice. God, those dice were just awful. Okay, so we've got the original adventure here, and those of you who have seen up close and personal old modules from TSR, the font and everything is just like blast from the past. Taboo Island. Uh-oh, Chungo. It's Taboo Island. I know it wasn't Taboo Island. It was Danger Island, but still. Roll for Combat says their set was so old they had the chits that you put into a cup to roll a die. Oh my gosh, I remember those. Oh, wow. Russell says they still have their original D20. I know Elliot still has his whole set sitting in his Crown Royal bag, which I keep all my dice in the Crown Royal bag too, which I've had for decades. Forever. Flaming Heron says, this just leaves me with a warm and fuzzy feeling as I pop through this. Ooh, look, this blue would show up on Xerox. Oh, that blue's too dark. All right. So here, one of the oddball things that I think with so far what we've seen in the first two volumes is that if there were different editions of the adventure published, they're in this book. We saw the same thing with volume 1 Into the Borderlands last night, where there were two print runs of Into the Unknown, and both of those were included in the book. And I understand for nostalgia, that's kind of cool, but to me, it's just, I mean, it's just kind of filling page space, really. Taboo Island Adventures. So this does look different. I think this might be there's something different here. Oh, love that art. Love that line art. Very cool. There we go. That blue's too dark too. You know, I think it's the same adventure, except it was just a different presentation. All right, so now we get into the section where now this is the completely converted adventure. And so far what I've seen is that the authors will expand upon the additional adventure. So from what I understand, this has been kind of expanded out to the point where you could play this as a campaign or possibly a mini campaign, depending on how many sessions you want to provide. I could seriously see very easily going from volume 1 into the into the Borderlands. Those two adventures, which would lead you into the Isle of Dread, because it's for levels 3 to 7, I think it was. So we get an overview of the Isle, some breakdown of the weather, exploring the Isle of Dread. So we also will have new artwork as well. So we've got Wandering Dread. So we've got Wandering Wilderness Encounters. That was the big deal with this adventure being included with the expert rules, because you now were introduced to wilderness adventures and, of course, a higher level threshold. Because in the basic game, it was all pretty much focused on dungeon delves and a little bit of urban, more like visiting merchants and things like that. So David says this is a blast from the past for sure. The book layout, font, map style, everything reminds me of having the box set in 81. I believe you are correct. I think it was 81 that this came out. Uh, so Kevin's talking about the font that was used for those as well. So we're going to have some info to start off with. It looks like we've got it's just basically kind of laying some of the groundwork for the Dungeon Masters. As you can see that the maps have been much more detailed. The pirate lair, the hippogriff nest. So this is not necessarily a hex crawl, but I believe, now I'm not sure with the new improved, I'm not going to say improved, converted adventure that I think it's set up where our hex map is going to be filled in. I'm not positive because I haven't seen it. And once again, this is a first look. I have not cracked open this book until now. And I know I've had these books for a few weeks now. And I've been like, oh, I really want to get into these. Definitely do like the maps. Now, one of the drawbacks that I think that we ran across yesterday, and it looks like it's going to be the same thing with this case here, is because there's no PDF available for this, bit tough with the maps. So you're going to have to, take a picture with your phone, print them out. Obviously, most people don't have the kind of scanner that you would need to scan a book without tearing it apart. So, but as you can see, this expanded adventure is quite long. In fact, it looks like it's more than half the book, which is a little bit, well, no, I think it was about half the book for yesterday's first volume into the Borderlands. Further adventures on the Isle of Dread. So here we're into the Appendix A. Appendix B, new monsters. Looks like we got quite a few. The Brontosaurus. The giant soldier ant. The juvenile purple worm. He's so immature. Wow, we got a lot of new monsters. They don't all get images, though. Some of them do. Well, yeah, I was gonna say there's a lot. There's a lot of new monsters here, and as you can see, they don't go overboard with the stat blocks as well. So I should mention, I don't know if any of you are fans of. I'm trying to remember the title of it. What the monsters? What is it? What the monsters will do or something? I can't remember it off the top of my head, but it's actually it's a book that's a bunch of stuff from this one person's blog about how to run monsters in D&D. The monsters know what they're doing. That's it. I guess the sequel came out today, or at least the audiobook came out today, because I had an Audible credit and I used it to pre-order it, and I got an email saying, hey, it's ready for download. Yep, the monsters know what they're doing. Yep, that's it. Because I have the first volume as an audiobook. It's kind of interesting. I mean, I have the book as well, the first, the monsters know what they're doing. And I got to say that it's fun to read in small chunks. It's fun to listen to in small chunks. I wouldn't spend hours listening to it because it gets kind of redundant. So Russell says the third book arrived today. So once again, we had this discussion yesterday that you can get the original PDFs. I don't think they're at Drive Through RPG, but they are at dmsguild.com. Same company. But I I think a lot of times they try to keep the Wizards of the Coast stuff, the old TSR stuff, over at DM's Guild and not over on Drive Through RPG to kind of drive traffic to DM's Guild. I know, kind of silly, but so this is kind of cool. We got this various different artwork of the different dinosaurs. Player handouts. Okay, so once again, we've got player handouts, but there's nothing, there's no pullout or anything, nothing included. So this becomes kind of difficult to utilize without tearing the book apart, which you're not going to do that. I actually really like all these maps and stuff, though. Very cool. Very nicely done. Another thing to keep in mind, because it's not available as PDF, I'm 99.9% positive it is not available as a virtual tabletop either. Omanal says they are on drive-through. Okay, cool. I just, for some reason, I thought, because I've seen it before, I've seen some stuff that you would think would actually be on drive-through RPG, but it's not. It's over on DM's Guild. All right, so then we get some photographs to wrap up, or a photograph. It's probably when they announced that they were going to work on the Isle of Dread. And of course, if you haven't checked out Dungeon Crawl Classics and you are looking for a role-playing game that is old school themed without being OSR, definitely check out Dungeon Crawl Classics. It is a lot of fun. It's not going to be everybody's cup of tea. It's not everybody's bag of tricks, but it is. I really like it. I really think it is a really fun system, especially the magic system and the luck, and each class plays differently. And yes, of course, wizards are still kind of overpowered, but magic is like crazy. So you might want to take a peek. All right, so that is Volume 2 of Original Adventures Reincarnated, The Isle of Dread, from Goodman Games. Of course, I will have a review of this in the near future. I plan on having reviews of all 6 volumes during January. So I started reading Volume 1 last night. I'm not going to tell you what I think yet, but you've already kind of heard me just talking about some critiques. But will those critiques be overwhelmed by the gaming goodness packed within the book? Stay tuned to find out. All righty then. So tomorrow, what do you think we're looking at? Anybody want to guess? Come on, guess. Guess what we're doing? We are going to dive on into Original Adventures Reincarnated Volume 3, which I own this module because it was Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. So that's why I had it. It is Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. Once again, from Goodman Games. Yeah, we're going to dive on in. I talked about it before. Some people don't like to mix their fantasy with their science fiction. They don't want their chocolate in the peanut butter in the chocolate. I don't mind it so much. I really don't. I don't really mind it so much. Especially with Barrier Peaks. I think this is a pretty wild adventure. Running it nowadays, I would tweak it a bunch. Just like, little side note, I know people are going to be maybe surprised to hear this, but I personally think Tomb of Horrors is crap. I don't like it at all. I think it's just one just one gimmick after another. And I am not a fan of adventures like that. Not at all. So, all right. So, yes, so next guest, it was War Games, all right? War Game Wednesday. No, there will not be any War Game coverage on the stream. Now, that doesn't mean if stuff shows up, I'm not going to shoot unboxing videos. I will, just all month long on the dispatch. It's all role-playing games, all with kind of a old school vibe. That's why, and other videos as well throughout the month. So it is the old school for the New Year's celebration all month long. All right, that is it for this time out. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the dispatch streams live right here on YouTube, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday evenings at 7 p.m. Central. Also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my upcoming first look at the Gaia Complex. Yes, the new cyberpunk role-playing game. You're going to dive into this and take a peek. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Do want to mention, we are, I think at last count, I think we're 12 subscribers short of 6,000 subs, which I know a lot of people out there are like, big deal. 6,000 subs. That's nothing. To me, it is a big deal. So it's a huge deal because I appreciate each and every one of you out there who does subscribe to this channel. I know I am not everybody's, cup of tea myself. So those of you who watch live, thank you very much. Those of you who took part in chat, thank you a little more because you help keep me company. So I'm not just sitting here like a doofus, just talking into a camera. And of course, I know a lot of people out there aren't able to watch live. Hey, however you watch any of the videos on this channel, even if it's on Memorex, I certainly really love the fact that you pop on in to check out the vids. All right, I'll be back tomorrow. We're going to be taking a look at Original Adventures Reincarnated Volume 3, Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. And of course, here's hoping each and every one of you out there gets to enjoy plenty of great gaming with your gang. See you tomorrow. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel by clicking right here. Check out the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, or find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, once again, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks for watching.